Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Let me start by saying thank you to all my supporters and everyone encouraging me to do more videos. I'm trying as best as I can to work as many in as I can. But let's get started. Today's review is on Tower Perfumes Sotto la Luna Gardenia. Sotto la Luna. The front of the bottle says Gardenia. Let's put it right there. And again, this is by Tower Perfumes, created by Mr. Andy Tower himself. It's also it's considered a floral woody unisex fragrance. The notes are the gardenia notes run in the top, middle, and bottom. But also in the middle, you also have rose, green notes, and in the base notes, you also have jasmine, sandalwood, tonka bean, and vanilla. I watched an interview that Andy Tower made when he released this fragrance, and he said this fragrance was inspired by an Italian poem. I can't remember the name, but basically I remember he said it translated in English to rabbits dancing out of the moon. Sotto means earth, and La Luna means the moon. So it makes sense. He goes on to explain, I'm going to read a little bit here. He goes on to explain his translation from that poem to this fragrance. Basically is the flower, the gardenia flower blossoming in the night under the moonlight. Is a very subtle, almost timid, and some of those flowers are at the end of life, and the rose petals are falling back onto the floor or to the ground, therefore becoming earth again. I guess it's something like the gardenia flowers circle of life is part of what he's trying to create in this fragrance. Now I sampled this fragrance endlessly before I actually made the purchase. I was convinced at first sniff that this was a beautiful fragrance, very well made, very well blended. Every time I sampled it, I asked around, and do you like this fragrance? Considering purchasing it, so on and so forth. And I never got anything more than it's okay or yeah, it's nice. I never got anything negative, but at the same time, it never drew compliments or was overwhelmingly positive feedback, I guess you can say. But again, like I said, I tried it. I think I tried about 5 samples and finally pulled the trigger. Now, this is very unique. I've never smelled anything like this. And because I never smelled anything like this, it kind of like I can't relate it to anything. But one thing it does take me back to my childhood. Not at a particular time in my childhood, but just growing up. It reminds me, because of its gourmandish qualities and slight sweetness, it reminds me of farina, which is like I don't want to call it a Spanish oatmeal, but that's what I know it as. It might run anywhere around the world, I'm not sure. Or even arroz con dulce, which is like a rice pudding type thing. I'm not saying it smells exactly like those two items, but that's that's the memory that it triggers. Back from my childhood, my grandmother making these things, so on and so forth. It is bright, but soft and subtle at the same time. It's slightly sweet. It does have some green earthy tones. Very smooth, creamy, almost velvet-like. I don't want to call it texture because you're not touching it, but that's the vibe I get out of it. With some touch of spices also. I feel like this is 100% unisex fragrance. I believe it wears differently on both the male and female that would apply this. This is an elegant fragrance. As far as performance, longevity lasts all day. I'm on my skin, and I wouldn't consider it a skin scent, but it's not a beast by far. I say for most of its life, it's about moderate. The sillage is average, but it's strong for the first hour and a half to 2 hours. Um, Now, this is not cheap. It's about $145 plus tax for the 50 mil, which is the size that Andy Tower fragrances come in. I obviously recommend you purchase. I mean, you sample before you try, like I did. Um, Now, if I want to get into a rating, like I've been doing in my last few reviews, um, but I also want to take myself out of it because I think this is a gem. I think this, in my personal opinion, was going to be higher than maybe an average person trying to purchase this fragrance. Um, but thinking realistically, as an average consumer, I would give this an 8. My number would be higher, but I think that's because of my where it takes me back to my childhood. But an 8, it's a solid fragrance. I think this is worth at least a sample. Um, yeah, that's my take. As always, thank you for coming. Like, comment, subscribe if you have not. And until next time, Fracom, peace and stay blessed.